Well, today is Play More Cards Day.
Playing cards goes back more than 1,000 years, and games and card decks can vary widely, of course. You've got those fantasy card games like Magic and Gathering. Specialty decks can think of Uno, and of course your standard 52 card deck. Even those come in a startling variety of looks.
Playing cards are great for when you're bored, and during the pandemic, Central Maine student Charlie Haberstock played a lot of cards. Then inspiration struck, so he designed a deck of cards that features towns all across the state. He says they've been a big hit so far, and he's already working on another deck featuring different towns. Maine geography was actually changed by the game Cards Against Humanity. In 2014, they bought a small island in Maine as a promotional stunt.
They raised money for charity at the same time, though, and everyone who donated got a license to use 1 square foot of what used to be called Birch Island in Lake St. George. Well, the company changed the island's name to Hawaii 2. And then, of course, there's the classic cribbage.
Cribbage has gone through some legal weirdness in Maine. A law in 2008 effectively ended charitable cribbage tournaments because it was too close to gambling. But 8 years later, cribbage competitions made a comeback, and our Christina Ernie was there.
I went to the library, got a book, and it said, "You are about to learn the best game ever invented for 2 people." And I totally agree.
That game is cribbage, and players travel to tournaments nationwide to meet new faces and test their luck.
It really is a game of skill, strategy, a lot of luck.
But 8 years ago, legislators didn't think luck had anything to do with it.
29.
Cribbage players consider the game exercising their mind. That's why when it became illegal in 2008 in Maine, considered gambling, they did everything they could to get it back.
When the laws were changed and they considered decks of cards as a gambling device, they took that, and we were still, all the people in the state of Maine were still playing. We were just leaving the state of Maine.
So American Cribbage Congress co-directors David Leisner and Joe Bowen went to their legislator, who helped them bring back the tournaments and in return bring back revenue to the state.
And we're estimating that the city of Bangor will see $100,000 get spent in tourism dollars in this tournament, which will translate into somewhere between $600,000 and $800,000 worth of economic activity brought to right here in Maine, which heretofore had been leaving the state and benefiting someone else's economy.
Players are glad they can carry on the tradition and put Maine back on the board.
I think the future for cribbage in this state is really at the threshold of blooming to something quite nice.
That was Christina Ernie reporting from 2016. We have some indoor time coming with the storm over the next few days, so bust out those cards of decks.
Yeah,
decks of cards.
Decks of cards.
Cards of decks, one of the other. It's fine.
All of the above.
That's right.